Thank you for listening to SSB Wannabes. Make sure you keep up to date by following us on Twitter at SSB_Wannabes with one E. Sometimes our schedule gets the best of us and we can't record when we want to, so keep your eyes on Twitter and you'll always know when the new episode is up. Anyway, enjoy the show.
Hey everyone, welcome to SSB Wannabes episode 16. My name is JD.
I'm Will.
And we are talking Melee. If you guys don't know, this is a podcast where I'm assuming a lot of people listen to us now. I'm assuming we gained 1,000 viewers, so let's go into it.
Right.
We talk about our journeys as Melee players. Because
Sounds good.
we are solidly mid-level and actually, we're mid-high level. Actually, we're high mid-level. You know?
All right, I like where we're going.
Yeah. So, we just had an Arcadian yesterday.
Yeah.
And you did really well.
Yeah, I did. I mean, yeah, it was definitely an interesting week. I wasn't even supposed to go to the Arcadian, you know?
Yeah.
So it really started off with me not being able to go to GOML, and I was actually really sad about it. I mean, you saw it and you reached out even. Like, I definitely put out a sad boy tweet on it.
Yep.
You know, and you know, it was a mix of things. Like, there was frustration from like not being able to go to GOML. I was like also really exhausted from work. You know, I got back from the Philippines, jet lag. You know, and the Philippines was fun, but it was like, you know, like those vacations where it's fun, but like you come out more exhausted than relaxed.
Yeah.
Because it was too much fun. So it was just like that. And then I got back, and then I had a bunch of deadlines for work the last 2 weeks, and I still have a lot, and they're a little understaffed. So I was just super exhausted, and I was really looking forward to like GOML being like my weekend, you know, for myself. And it's not that like, you know, like it was, I went to the Philippines for a wedding, and it was beautiful and it was really fun, but obviously I came out just like a little more tired and stuff like that. So, and I missed a few events. I've been missing a lot of events, like as we've been talking about in like our past podcast episodes, right? Like I missed Fight Pit, I missed Pound, I missed King, you know, so I didn't want to miss GOML also. And it just, I couldn't find housing, and that was sort of like the last straw for me. And, you know, I lost, you know, the money I put for my plane ticket. So I was down a little bit also. And so it was really frustrating, and that's when I put out the tweet.
Yeah.
And I think to like just sum up, like I did feel like just really overwhelmed at the moment. And then also, like as a competitor, I was very frustrated because I didn't want to be missing any of those events. And you know, I thought I've been really making a lot of good leaps and bounds in my play, and I really wanted to not win or like get a good result or whatever, but really just play. Like I just really wanted to test myself out, you know, like you can practice for so long, and you know, and that's it, right? You know, as a true competitor, you want to fight, you know, people, you want to try to win, you want to lose sometimes too, you know, like, you know. And I was really missing that. And so, you know, remember how I like randomly like just decided I was going to GOML and I was like filled with this excitement? That was like the opposite. So that's sort of like where I was coming for the week. But, you know, I had to just sort of take the L, lose a little bit of money, and because I couldn't get the flight refunded, which was also like super annoying.
Yep.
And then I, you know, just still took the 2 days off. So I still took Thursday, Friday off from work, and that was super nice and super like really well needed. And I went to first Tasty Thursday actually. So the Arcadian wasn't my only tournament this weekend.
Oh, word.
And that was really good. I got third. I lost to Pudgy and Fable. And overall, I'm pretty happy with my gameplay. I mean, I don't get a lot of Sheik practice, even though I think I'm like solid in the matchup. And I lost game 5 last stock to Fable, so kind of bittersweet. But I kind of know what happened, and I know what I did wrong, and it was recorded. So I'm, you know, just gonna hit the VODs once the VODs come out, you know. But really, what happened was like, I was watching actually Fable versus KJH at King, and I noticed a lot of what KJH was doing. So I lost game 1 to Fable, and I was like, okay, I think I know what to do now. I definitely not gave him the hands, but I definitely made the right adjustments, and like handily took game 2 and 3. Then he kind of threw me off game 4 and took that. And in game 5, he was just a little more clutch. I made I let him get back on stage a few too many times, and he clutched out. So you can't really get mad at those situations, especially when it's like I don't really get to play Sheik too much, so that's not like a John. But like, I was happy that I got to like be in the pressure cooker against a Sheik.
Yeah, those sets don't come by often, and usually when I lose game 5s as well, I don't feel too bad about it. Obviously, you want to win. That goes without saying, but a lot of times I'd prefer to go to a game 5 set and lose than to 3-0 somebody. I mean, you think about the overarching improvement. That's what really is going to bring out the best of you in the major situations. When you are in a high pressure situation, even if it's a best of 3 or something, playing within that. I like the pressure cooker. I like that word for it, but it's important to put yourself in those situations as often as possible, and having those regionals lined up and pound and all that not come through, that does really suck. And that's, I totally feel where you're at with just wanting to play. Like yesterday, like I love playing friendlies with people. I love festing, all that, but it doesn't, like, I can't get the same practice out of it. And actually, I was tricked. I don't know why I thought I would be eligible for the Arcadian. I guess I didn't read the rules, but like I knew you were, and I'm like, oh, okay, so I am too. Like, we're one off from the NYC PR. Yeah, like, what's really the difference? But and Haas hit me up too. He's like, yo, dude, like, you go to the Arcadian? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then obviously 2 days before, they're like,
prior Tristate. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So I was PR'd last season, and I was hit up by 2 people at the exact same time, and they were like, dude, what are you talking about? You can't go. Like, they were mad at me. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. Someone told me and I wanted to believe. But having that, obviously it's not the same as not being able to go to a major, but there's a certain vibe you get the week before a tournament, and it always makes me practice more, and it leads to actual improvement rather than practicing for the sake of maintaining skill. So that's where I'm trying to recreate that without having a tournament coming up right away. I'd like to go back to where I was when I didn't have a job and I could wake up and put in a lot of time. I keep saying this over and over, but it's hard to generate that urgency for practice when you don't have something coming up right away. And so this summer is going to be, the summer's pretty much here. Like, I saw a tweet yesterday, I don't know who it was, I think it was like, Chroma or something. The Melee preseason's finally over, and it got me kind of amped, like, oh shit, it's got a point. There's going to be events everywhere. Regionals and majors alike are just going to be, so many opportunities to travel and compete. And so I think it's going to be, the test for me at least is going to be like, how can I stay in that competitive mindset for as long as possible and, get out of the summer with some actual gains and some legitimate, like, okay, I feel like I'm actually better than I was last summer or last week.
I think I definitely feel that, like, keeping your head, like, it's not that, like, it's like, you could be disciplined, but competitors need to compete, right? That's just sort of like the end of it, right? If you're really a competitor, you want to compete, you want to enter that sort of gladiator ring, right? But yeah, and I think, like, it's feeling like noticing your improvement. I think there's like I feel like we're coming in from different angles, which is actually really interesting. Like, I feel like you're saying it's like, you want to enter tournaments so you like see how you stack up against how you were last year, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
And then I feel like I'm saying like I know I'm better now, Like I just want to run with it, you know.
Right.
Like I see it and I just wanted to run with it, I guess. But I love how we're both like have like different sort of outlooks on it for sure. I think also like the big thing for me, just going back to like sort of the frustration, was it was almost felt like this was the first time that like life got in the way of Melee, you know. And I think that's my biggest fear, honestly, like in terms of like Melee related stuff. You know, it's about, you know, we've talked about this on the podcast, I've preached it before, it's about like learning to live with it, you know.
Right.
Not making it like an escape or anything, but like really having it just be a part of you and your routine and everything like that. But you know, it really hurt because it felt like for the first time I was just absolutely forced to put Melee to the side, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously I went to 2 tournaments regardless, but you know, GOML's big, right? GOML was... I was gonna play Axe, which was really exciting too, you know.
Yeah.
I've never played anyone with a single digit rank. You know, it's kind of, you wanna test that. You want to experience it, right? You want to see, what do I lack as a person, as a player, as a competitor, you know, against someone who's done it, right? Or alternatively, like, how can I take it, you know? Because you know, even though I know I'm looking at like, what do I lack, you know, I still like don't have Pikachu practice, but it's not like I wouldn't play not to try to beat Axe, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely sad.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's really sort of where I was coming from the whole experience. But it ended up being a really good weekend, and you know, maybe it wasn't been like the weekend I expected, but it was one that it was a weekend of a lot of firsts, and it was a weekend where there was a lot to learn for sure.
Word.
Both in and out of the game.
I like how you say like this is the first time it really got in the way, because I feel like life gets in the way all the time, but at least from my perspective, I feel like there's always those sacrifices of, should I go to, like, can I go to this tournament, or do I have other obligations? And I think one of my, I guess my biggest strength within Melee is the way I handle those sacrifices. I think I do a really good job excuse me, at figuring out the best way to handle it. And I don't think it ever hits me too hard. Like, you think about it like a sword attack coming in. You could kind of block it, you could get hit by it, or you could parry it. And what's the last one?
Parry.
No, there's one where you hit it and then you hit back really
Counter?
hard. Yeah, counter. There's a better word for it in like sword terms. I'll look it up and no, I won't. But basically, what I've gotten really good at is when I have to sacrifice a tournament for something else, or maybe I made friends with plans with my best friends that I don't see often, and so I choose them over a tournament. I'm really good at kind of taking that and using its momentum and making the thing I sacrificed it for that much better. And I think that's really important because it keeps Melee as a positive in the whole situation. It keeps it like, okay, I'm missing this tournament, that sucks. And there's like, it's not like there's no negative feelings, but it forces me to be like, okay, I'm doing this other thing, let's make the most of this. Like, let's have if it was in college, it was like, all right, let's actually study for this final, not just dick around, or you know, let's do whatever event I was going to otherwise, as great as it can be. And I think that's something that a lot of people can develop. It's just really, it's tricky because when you're on the Melee grind and you're in it to win it and you're practicing all the time and you have an event and then the event becomes unavailable to you, it's really easy to spend the weekend. It's going to sound like I'm throwing shots at you. I'm not, but it's very easy to spend the weekend on Twitter being like, you know, I'm pissed and this sucks. And you didn't do that. You just made one post. Like, I'm not saying you did.
Yeah, no, of course. It was a very like weird post, especially coming from me, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But the alternative is to be like, okay, like I missed a major. Let's, you know, do my own thing. I get to sleep in my own bed. I get to hang out with friends. I get to be with family.
I get to work out.
Yeah, I get to actually like do my normal things and not come back with the flu. Like, there's a lot of positives that can be taken out of it, and I think it's a necessity to get to that point, because otherwise, every major you're not going to go to, or if you can't afford a major, like, things out of your control are one thing, but if you're going to make the sacrifice, then you have to be 100% into that choice that you made, and make sure you're running with that and making the most out of it. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable, and you're taking Melee and you're making it the only thing that can make you happy. And that's gonna put too much pressure on the game. That's gonna put pressure on you playing. It's just gonna bring you down overall. And it also, like, you have to think of this game as such, like, we talk about the macro all the time, like how the long-term mindset of this game, and it's not going anywhere. I think it's pretty well established that even if tournament entrants swing up and down and people lose sponsorships or whatever it may be for the moment, there's always going to be this core group of players that you can interact with and play with. And so you have to kind of reevaluate and be like, okay, I could put this behind the important stuff, take this in stride, and just look forward to the next one and go from there. And I think you did a really good job with that, because when we hung out yesterday, like, I didn't get a sense that you were like, oh, I could be at GOML right now, or goddamn, like, you didn't dwell on it, and from what I saw, for a single second. And that's really important. And
yeah, it was
you did make the most of it. You went to 2 tournaments, you know?
Yeah, I went to 2 tournaments. I ran and did yoga with Miso on Friday. Yeah, like, I mean, my schedule right now is just still 4 days of Melee, actually. Like, so I did Tasty on Thursday, then I ran like 2 miles, did yoga with Miso for the first time, so that was really fun. And then we went back to my place. We played for like 5 hours, grinded out the matchup.
5 hours, Jesus.
And then I went to the tournament yesterday, and then Beerman, Flinchy, and Jason are coming over today, like, to like for a few hours to like just kind of practice a little more, you know?
Damn.
Like, so I'm definitely trying to make the most of it, you know? And I was actually worried if I didn't know if I wanted to play today or not, but, you know, something about it just, you know, I'll get into it for sure, but like, there's no way I don't want to play, I realized right now.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about the Arcadian?
Yeah, let's get to it. I also, before that, I just love how you mentioned like I think one thing you said that I learned this week was like, I need to give time to myself to like reset, you know? So like, not just like accept that I didn't go to GOML, but like, you know, really use the time where it's like, you know, you're tired, you're burnt, you're stressed. You need that time to like just reset yourself. And I think you're really good at that, you know, as you mentioned, right? Like going and doing the things you need to do, and so that you can play the Melee that you want to play when you get the chance, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a really good thing that I learned a lot more about this week. But onto the Arcadian, yeah. So it was a really interesting Arcadian. It was a lot of firsts. So my run pretty much went Regex into JLo. So JLo is, as Ben said on commentary, someone who has beaten me in the past. We played at NYU. He took winners, I took losers. I beat him at Columbia, but he is someone who knows me and also you know, plays a really weird matchup. He plays Yoshi. It's not a very common one, but we do play a lot, and actually a lot of my practice on Yoshi comes from him, funny enough.
Yep. Same.
So I thought that was a really good set. He was definitely like a little rusty from playing Ultimate, but I was still definitely a little nervous, and I think you saw that when you commented on my like deep breathing exercises after game 1. Like, really just like that was sort of like my view of like, all right, the tournament starts now. I'm facing people from here on out who can just beat me. you know, and I'm happy that the breathing exercises really came through with me this weekend, actually, you know. And then next I played Koopa Kev, who, as you mentioned, he's a scrapper. He's super good. I've never beaten him before, actually. I was telling you that last night.
That was surprising to hear. Like, obviously, Koopa Kev's been good for a long time, but I feel like you've been at or above that level for like a year now. So I'm surprised to hear that. Do you just not play him too often? When was the last time you played?
I played him. I lost him at Smole, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I lost him at See Me Online 3 like a few months ago.
Oh wow.
He just has a really good like head-to-head against me, and his style sort of like, if I'm not fully in control, like he can really steal the momentum away from me.
Yeah.
And I actually think, funny enough, I love that you guys think I'm really good at the Fox Ditto. I think it's like one of my less practice matchups now, and it's like, I don't think it's a bad matchup for me, but it's not one where if I can like easily make adjustments to, you know?
That makes sense. You're locked in on a lot of important stuff, and you have that prior experience and sort of like that foundation of a Fox Ditto that's really important. And I want to talk about this particular set for a little bit. I want to sit on this because Koopa Kev he's PR'd in New York City too, right?
Yeah, he's 13, I believe. And he's a demon for sure, for me at least, you know?
Yeah, he's really good, really solid, and having you guys play was interesting because it was the first time I had to sit and actually think about, like, on commentary, you can't just be like, oh, this guy's good, wonder who's gonna do it. You gotta really think, like, what are these players' strengths and how are they gonna match up against each other. And it was fascinating because Koopa Kev and you have this very like, in a general sense, in a very like quick, easy sense, there's a way to describe it as like, okay, Wasabi is a little more consistent. Koopa Kev can kind of blast off into this strangeness, but when you dive into it, there's so many similarities with you guys too, with like consistent combos and tech chasing, that when you guys came together, it became just a battle of momentum and a battle of who was feeling it in each stock in each given moment. And I love how it was almost like he almost took you back to game 5 after you
I know, dude. Haas said the first words Haas uttered out of his mouth after that set was, if you lost game 4, I think I would have bet money that you were gonna get reverse 3-0'd. I'm like, and I was like wholeheartedly like, you're probably like, it's up there, right? I'm like, yeah, that probably could have happened.
Yeah, he was wrestling it back, and it was cool because it felt like he was just poking holes in your armor, like you're the mountain, he's Quentin Martin. I should know his name too. I really suck at recalling things.
Are you thinking Game of Thrones?
No, let's not talk about it because I suck. Martell.
Are we talking Clegane Bowl?
No. I'm talking the duel.
Whatever.
It was the spear guy, but the metaphor sticks where you were this giant, this warrior beast, and you were getting big hits, and you were kind of hard to penetrate, and your defense was good, and then eventually he just found these like little slices and holes in like very unconventional ways, and that's when he started.
He did like a soft nair into up tilt on a platform.
Oh, so
I was
cool.
like, what the fuck just happened to me?
He was doing some sick shit, and the whole day he was playing really well. So having you guys face off felt like a test on your kind of on your mettle, like how much can Will stand up to this guy and just kind of bring it home. And then you did. It was sweet.
Yeah. I think so I think in terms of play styles, I think we're both oppressive in very different ways is how I would describe it. I think he really tries to speed up the match while I have a certain rhythm that I like to play in, where So I have a rhythm that I like to play in where I can control the pace, and he's very much a player that also wants to control the pace of the match. And I think that sort of, you could see when the tempo changed. Like, if my tempo's like, and his tempo's like, right, like,
Good snap.
Thank you. And I think depending on what the tempo of each stock was, you could see who had momentum.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of my flowcharts and stuff like that come off of like these knockdown situations, and it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And Koopa Kev is very much, he has his own flowchart, but it definitely isn't, I would say, as conventional. It's a lot more creative and on the fly, I would say.
Right.
And it definitely throws you off, like in terms of like, I don't know where I'm going next. Like, is this gonna get follow up? Oh, I'm missing a tech here, right? And he's still good enough to hit like his reaction tech chases too. So I thought that. I think also I'm really, really I'm really happy I beat him for the first time. Like, regardless of skill level, the game's still a 1v1. It doesn't really matter. Like, if you have a good matchup on someone, you just have a good matchup on someone, right?
Yeah.
And that's always what I considered it, So going into that, I'm really happy, honestly. My mentality stood strong, and I made clear, decisive decisions at the end, the way I closed it even, right? Like, it was just, I was down, dude. I was like at 100 something, and I think he was at like 60, right? And like, I was just like, I know, I've seen what you do on recovery. Like, let me forward throw you, and then just do the thing that Beerman has hit me with 1,000 times, which is forward throw, turn your back, jump, then jump again, bear, right? And on the instant up B, right?
Yep.
Instant high up B. And it's just like, I needed that read, and to win sets you need a little bit of luck. And I think the way I view the Fox matchup for me is that I have a lot of the good foundations to play a very strong macro game.
Yeah.
But I don't have the micro yet where I can make minute adjustments. Like with Falco, Puff. I think Falco, Puff, Marth especially, and Falcon, I can see myself and I can say I'm doing this wrong and change it for the next game. With Fox, I have a way of playing, and it's hard to deviate so much from that. Like, it's hard to interchange the parts, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's really how I describe it, is that, and that's what I want to work on with the Ditto, is that I want to be able to see like, oh, like I'm undershooting too much and Koopa Kev's whiff punishing me. Like, I need to overshoot here, and stuff like that. And I think having those micro interactions be interchangeable, like it is with my other matchups, is really important. Like, I think, granted, I got like, grand finals is different, but I think I did that against Haas also,
Yeah.
On winners. And I just don't have that with Fox yet, but it's something I'm definitely working on.
Well, the Fox Ditto is weird because in my experience, when I can do different things and keep changing it up proactively, that's when I have success. And obviously that comes in, one thing you're good at is those reliable combos. Like, you don't drop the stuff you shouldn't drop. But in neutral, like when we play, I feel when I can kind of switch things up often and keep you on your back foot, that's when I have success against you. We haven't played a tournament in a while, but in our friendlies at least. And I think you should look into being a little more chaotic in the Ditto, and then in the punish game slow it down and be like, okay, here's the decision to make. But I think it's really hard just in that matchup specifically to make decisions in advance of what you need to do, because it's just too fast, it's too scrappy. Koopa Kev is one player where I actually lean, when I play against him, I have to do like a quick switch in style. So I have to do the quick stuff. I have to play on his level and outspeed him and kind of challenge him in his own dojo a little bit, and show him that like I could do these ledge cancel double attacks and side B ledge cancels or like shine turnaround tricky stuff. Like, I have to play with him in there and kind of circle around him the best of my ability. And then once he feels challenged, then I revert or not revert, but I switch and pivot into a play style that's more similar to you, where it's more cognitive and it's more like, okay, this is the decision I'm making, and this is how I'm gonna beat him this stock, and that's where I'll dash dance a little more and just get like a grab, and I feel like against him it's specifically, but I think also other foxes in this kind of camp, in this style, it's all about who is feeling pressured to make these moves and to do difficult things. Where if you feel like the only way to win is to do something difficult, then you start using brain power to execute, and then you lose, or at least you're very vulnerable to just really simple, like full circle meta, back to the basic counterplay, where you got to do, like, I'm pressuring you, so you feel like you got to do like pivot down air with full fade back air drift, but I'm just gonna like run at you, wave dash down, now I have center stage, like there's very simple counterplay, but it has to be set up after a certain play style. And I think if you added a little chaos and a little bit of like big cojones type fox play with like, okay, I'm gonna challenge you, let's do this, like this first stock, let's just do some crazy shit, I'm gonna come at you, I'm not gonna care too much, whatever. If you can find that, I think you can have an easier time against some of these foxes, where if they were playing your game, I should say, then you are more practiced, you're more disciplined. But it's just a proactive way to defend against them coming at you with that, and then all of a sudden you're on the back foot, and then you feel like you have to overcompensate to get to their level, and all of a sudden they're dash back grabbing you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. I agree with the general idea of it, but I do disagree on some parts. So I think what I disagree with is that what a lot of people make as a mistake is when they say chaotic, they're just like kind of throwing out random shit out, But I think there's a way where if you're knowledgeable enough with the game, like Drug Fox or who, whatever smart player is, that it's sort of this controlled chaos where you still are in control and you're not making guesses. I think the pitfall, which is like, I feel like what I played the Fox like a little more before, it was very hit or miss, and you don't want to lose your consistency by throwing out random stuff. You want to like understand still when you're doing the overextensions, when you're doing the mix-ups, when you're going for reads, and you want to understand the fundamental concepts of those decisions still. While
I agree, but for first stock, it's hard to put all that together. I think when the game is like when the first game, first stock, you start off in the Fox Ditto, there's nothing to go off of. You don't know, you can't make a read. There's no reads to be made. So when I say chaos, I don't mean like you just go full hop nair and you like just go do stupid shit. I'm saying you kind of go more with your id. You just say whatever like first comes to mind, just do it. Just do it. Because putting that, even if they punish you for it, if they punish you perfectly for it, then you're just getting outplayed, right? Like if you can't do it in a controlled way where like if your nairs are unsafe on shield, or if you're just missing drills, or if you're shining stupid places, then that's not a matter of chaos, it's just a matter of playing poorly. I'm saying if you have all these options in your tool belt, just like run through them, just go down the line, just one after another, just
okay, yeah, everything. that makes sense.
That's what that's more what I'm saying, rather than like random stuff. I'm saying just go. This is at least something that would work on some foxes. I mean, if you have experience playing against someone for a long time and they are just like from the get-go, they have their game plan and they won't falter, then I think you have to probably take a step back. You still have to have that aggression, because a Fox Ditto is like the aggressive fox does win.
You need to have aggression in the Ditto.
Right. But I guess all I'm trying to say is early on, if you establish this sort of like,
Mhm.
dude, I'm crazy, bro. Like I could lose anything, bro.
That's fine.
Like then you don't have to maintain that the whole time. You just have to like sense a tone shift in them, and then you could just play around that, and then you could play safe and just punish them super hard. And that's the way I ideally
Got
like to
it.
play the Ditto. That's all I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I definitely think aggression, you need to be aggressive in the Ditto and like actively try to break down your opponent for sure until they start, adapting and stuff like that. That I definitely agree with.
But you
Yeah.
beat Kupa Kev regardless, man. You took it home.
Yeah, definitely did. I mean, definitely it was a game where my punish game sort of really took me to the finish line for it.
It was there consistently the whole set.
Yeah, I got like a few. I'm happy. I got a few like crouch cancel crouch cancel tech chases too. That was like really good. Something I've been practicing recently. But yeah, and then the next set was winners finals against Haas, who
That was a good set.
yeah, it was really tough. He has such a weird style. But really, I felt like that was a set where he was playing really well, and I just sort of outlasted him in that set in particular. I don't think it was like we were both at the top of our games. I think it was a solid set with a lot of good play, but a lot of like mistakes also, and a little bit of nerves on both ends. But in the end, I think what sort of, again, having that really solid punish game that I've been, cultivating for years now really sort of took me home, and knowing those flow charts, and then also making those adjustments, like noticing that like when he wanted to approach, when he didn't, and like not being scared to make those changes mid game, I think was really what let me take game 5 last stock against him.
Yeah, it's difficult against him specifically because kind of like what I was saying before, he's really good at, I guess simply put, he's just really good at mix-ups.
Yeah.
He has like 3 or 4 really well established styles that he could switch in between. He's a very fluid player.
And he's not afraid to be patient too.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of don't know what you're getting until he starts doing stuff. And so I think you were really good at just like your defense was solid. Your combo game was on point again, and you just you stuck to playing the character matchup, which worked in the first set, because sometimes it's just all you got to do. You got to just realize like what moves beat the other character. How do I kill them once I touch them? And that's really important.
Yeah. I think also.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think also, like, what are you gonna say? You're saying character matchup, yeah. Oh no, I was really happy with my defensive game. I think overall was really solid that game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought like I hit a lot of like my ledge techs and stuff like that. That actually like saved me like 2 for 2, which was crazy.
Yeah, your ledge techs were they were there. It was important.
Yeah, they were there. But yeah, I felt like the Haas winner final set was a accumulation of a lot that I've been working on. And even though things weren't perfect, I think having that ability to edge it out and keep my composure and hit maybe 70% of my punishes got me through, right? And then that was my first time, honestly being on winner side of Grands. Like it's never really happened to me before, dude. Like New York's tough, like 7th place finish at Nebs is pretty solid a lot of the time. Maybe 5th, like this was my first side on winner side. I don't think I felt like a little bit of nerves, but I felt like it was more of a mix of in grand finals of Haas playing really well and like really calling me out and like actually playing the player, and fatigue. I thought I was dropping a lot of my stuff that I was hitting maybe earlier on in the day.
It was. I didn't really understand what was happening. Are you talking about Grands now, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about Grands. Yeah, so I'm
I didn't.
curious on your
I
thoughts
didn't.
on it.
I didn't really sense what was happening from your side. I know what Haas was doing was just kind of he just got an iron grip um, on his combos. That was the big
Yeah.
thing that I noticed from him was that he didn't drop anything.
Yeah, he hit like
Too
a truck.
obviously. Yeah, he hits really hard, and I think what you did in the winners final set was just hit back equally,
Hmm.
and then the blows that you were landing on him weakened his own on you. So because of that pressure that you would put onto him whenever you would combo, when he got the chance, it didn't have the same impact. Not only because you would still be in the game, but it just felt like he didn't feel as confident. But once he got that control, I don't even feel like he ran away with it. I just feel like he was just like
He was the better player at that point. I think at that moment, it was like a no-brainer. He was playing better melee than me.
Yeah. Might come down to just that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much to think about it. I think there are a lot of stuff in set 1 in winners finals that I just like ignored but didn't adapt to for grand finals.
Hmm.
And I think it's just like that makes a big difference when the Fox isn't hitting his punishes as hard and the Falco's hitting his punishes more, and
That's it.
that's it. That it really felt like that. And like, I'm not saying that to, I think Haas was a great player. I'm, no pride, I'm not even, not no pride, no disrespect, he deserved it for sure. He's the champion. I think it was definitely bittersweet. I don't think I'm happy. I don't think it was nerves really, honestly, that was coming for grand finals, because I've played my pseudo grand finals with Beerman, right, so many times that I was like, I felt ready for it. I just didn't feel, I think emotionally I was ready for it, but mentally and physically I wasn't there anymore. I think emotionally I was ready for it. I didn't really get discouraged. But when you drop so many, I think I dropped a lot of combos that game. Honestly, I remember some stuff there. I just like missed outright follow-ups. I jumped and like up aired instead of like JC up smash, which like doesn't happen too often for me,
Mhm.
like, and there was definitely fatigue was setting in, and Haas had more left in the gas. And I think, I don't know, I feel like I don't need to read into it too much, because that's how it is sometimes, like,
Well,
you
all
just
you
sort of,
can, yeah, all you
yeah.
can really do is, I think, recognize how you felt beforehand. Just kind of get a vibe of like, okay, let's say the culmination of everything of that day, you were in
Yeah.
winners finals, and then you won, so your grand's winner's side. How do you feel, and what decisions did you make, and how do you think that impacted your final performance?
Mm.
So I know when am in when I'm in that position of winner side grands, I don't like to play until grand finals, and then I'll do a quick hand warmer, and then I'm in it. And I think that helps me a lot, just kind of
Yeah, that's what I
maintain my
tried to do,
energy.
actually.
You didn't play.
I didn't play. I watched GOML, and then I asked Panos to play like for a few games, and that was it. I think
Okay.
maybe I needed to play more
Okay.
to make the adjustments. So actually, I think I might be the opposite, funny enough.
No, yeah, we are the opposite in a lot of different senses, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
But I wasn't really playing in winter side either, so that I decided to like keep it together,
right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
would have done the same thing you did, and just get
Yeah.
like once. Oh man, I'm tired. Once
Yeah.
losers finals started, that's when I would just get a few games in beforehand. So it's interesting. So you felt fatigued. I'm really
I think
trying to
so.
dissect this. I'm trying to figure out like what is there like a solution, something we have control over? Because sometimes we don't really have control over our energy at the moment.
I think there are a few things. Like, Um, maybe like after winners finals, I could have taken like a quick nap. Like I'm a very big like power nap person, so maybe like that's it. Like I took a nap before bracket started. Actually, I didn't really play the hour before bracket. You know, I
Yeah.
just actually just took a nap. Um, so
I
maybe
can't do that.
Yeah, I
I
know.
would get bodied.
I've definitely woken up from naps and bodied people in at like the fest I host. So maybe that's it. I think also like I needed to warm up a little more against Panos or with Panos, and then I think you know when it is a game that close, I think that's all you can do. You know, I think what you had more control over than anything else is, and then how you're feeling. Right, we're thinking about like, oh, you know, how can you recreate the feeling of playing well and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
But it's still the answer's always the same. I feel like it's just you got to improve your game. You know, as you improve, like your base becomes better, your B and C game becomes better. You like I think the problem is that the way I view it is that yeah, I wasn't hitting my punishes and yeah, I was a little tired and all that, but that's not excuses to
No.
like not play well. Like there are many things in neutral and like many bad decisions I made that I just because of inexperience against Haas because I didn't know what to do in those situations, and I think ultimately though that's what killed me, you know, and
Yeah.
that's what I need to work on, and that's why I'm gonna study the VODs, you know, probably today or tomorrow. Like I'm gonna definitely work on the Falco matchup today when Beerman and Flinchy come over and grind it out. But like, you know, I think there were things that Haas was doing that I didn't have answers for, and when you don't have an answer to something due to inexperience or yeah, it's still inexperience, you know, even though I got second at this Arcadian and I'm power ranked in New York or whatever, the same problem that occurs for newer players occurs to me and players above even. It's just inexperience, you know, you didn't have the answer and that's why you lost.
Yeah, I think that's the best pull away from this because the what I like to think about is just what we have control over, right? It's something I try to keep my mind on,
Hmm.
and it looks like you did kind of everything that like your body needed. You know what did I do before bracket? You took a nap. What did you do? You know before the match? Is you relaxed? Um, that will sound terrible without context, but basically, I think you did everything right day of. You know, so you're right. It's just well, what can we use from this now to go forward? And I think your
Yeah.
mindset's right on point. It's always a good learning experience to get second place, right? There's always more to
Yeah.
learn than from a
From
tournament where you
winning,
just
yeah.
steamroll. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think it's good, and I think Haas is such a good player. Um, Specifically Haas, and specifically in my come up.
Hmm.
I've been playing him for a very long time because me and him came up from the same region, and we've
Yeah.
always had really close sets. And um, he was one of those players where no matter what stage I felt like I was in, I had to kind of adapt and recenter myself to play against him. And having a player
Hmm.
like that, um, you know, play every few months or whatever it was, is so good to
Yeah.
have for improvement's sake because you know that he's improving also. It's not just like he's this dude who's just magically good, like he's on the grind just as much.
Hmm.
And having him present a different style and a very adaptive one at that
Yeah.
um, just leads me to have to play really good melee to triumph. Um, Me and Haas are like I would say we're split even lifetime. I don't really know. I
Hmm.
won. He won the last one. I won the one before that. So we're just like constantly back and forth.
Yeah, we're all
And
around the same area.
yeah, and so it's really cool that we have a player like that, especially when he goes to majors and like pops off. Um,
Yeah.
he's been doing consistently better, and I think he's just proven himself to be a good player in any situation. He will always be a threat.
He's also very relaxed, I think, as a player.
Yeah,
I feel like I don't see him tilt too often, to be honest.
yeah. He tilts as much as he's on the lower end of it. Like if you compare him to Lint,
Oh
way
yeah.
way
Oh my
less
god.
so.
Oh my God, yeah.
But he's definitely a player that can lose momentum, and then it becomes that game. It's the same thing I mentioned before of kind of putting him on the back foot. There is a very noticeable. There are some noticeable things that he does that I'm not going to advertise here.
Yeah, of course.
Because he's my homie, and I don't want to talk about. I would say it to him to kind of help him for sure.
Yeah, of course.
But it takes a hell of a lot of work to put him into that sort of gameplay. He's too solid for too long. It takes some real work, and then he'll start doing exploitable stuff. But good stuff to Haas, man. He like you and him both probably should not have. Like, you guys are not Arcadian level anymore, so it's a little silly having you guys show
weird.
up.
Yeah, I mean, good stuff to Haas. It was definitely a learning experience. Again, like it was just a day of a lot of firsts, both good and bad, and you sort of just have to take a tournament like that, I think.
Yeah. That was the first tournament.
Rare.
That was the first tournament that I commentated the entire time.
Yeah, that was crazy. How is that? Actually, before we talk about that, just like to end it, I think, I am, spouting a lot of like good mentality and like understanding of like what went wrong and being objective of the set, but and it is bittersweet. Like I am both happy and sad of what happened yesterday. Like, happy with my play on winner's side, not as happy about Grants, but there still is some frustration, and I think I want to just like be upfront about that too. Like I definitely, maybe a little corny or whatever, but I definitely not like big, but shed a tear, teared up a little bit, a little frustrated this morning about the grand finals. Not that I lost, but of the gameplay that I showed on grand finals, I was really disappointed with myself about. And that's not saying like as like a downer at all. I just think, damn, I was like so close, and that hurts. And I don't want to. I feel like, the whole point of what we're doing is to like be honest with our emotions on things, and I think it was still a little too raw to really like surface up last night. But this morning, as I'm trying to think of like what to tweet and looking through like some anime quotes that I like, to like go with the tweets.
Such a weeb.
I'm such a weeb. But I definitely felt a lot of frustration, actually. Like the frustration that I was wondering where that was yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's healthy.
Yeah,
I think that's fine.
Yeah. But I guess I just wanted to share it because we always talk about it. So finally, I have an example where I really did feel a lot of frustration from it. Not that like I'm haunted by the past or anything, but it is frustrating nonetheless.
We'll see how long you feel frustrated. Maybe you will be haunted by this. Maybe this is just the beginning.
Well, you're such a dick. Who says that to someone?
Maybe you will be haunted.
Maybe you will be haunted? Like, what a fucking asshole.
Sorry. Oh, man.
Who says that?
Yeah, I know. Look, you'll be fine.
Yeah, no. I'm feeling... I have to just rewatch the sets and keep doing what I did, because I've still come a long way, honestly. As you've said on commentary, dude, like, Haas has my number. Like, has always had my number. So, even taking the winner's final set was big for me. So,
Word.
It's, I wanted more, but that's not what the game gave me. So, I gotta take what I get.
Yeah, for sure. But it was fun. It was a fun tournament.
But about you, though, like, how was the commentary and how did that feel? Because that's what we were sort of getting into before I interrupted you.
No, for sure. It felt good. It was fun. I definitely wanted to see if I could do it. It was it was a good opportunity to be like, okay, let's say I am doing a major. Let's say I get a spot doing pools at a major. This is essentially this is what it would look like. Yeah, like 3 hours, 3 hours straight.
Was it 3 hours? Damn.
Was it 3? It felt like it was.
I'll
Started at 6:30, ended at like 9:30.
It was 3:38. Yeah, you're right.
So it was a good opportunity to test how long I can kind of stay in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to say I think I'm at the point where I can reasonably do that, skill wise.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, it felt good to kind of feel like things were rolling pretty well. And by the end, I was definitely getting tired. Like I should have done an interview with Haas. I feel bad, kind of
Mhm.
piecing out.
Yeah.
Because I always do interviews, but I actually do feel really bad about that because he seemed a little disappointed about it. um,
Yeah.
but besides that, I feel like my energy level maintained pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I did feel like I was remaining present, even when like people straight up do not respect the commentary booth in that venue. Like people
Oh no.
just go up and start talking and be like, "Oh, yo, my set went really well. Like I lost." I'm like, "Dude, like we're literally commentating now."
Yeah.
So besides moments like that where it's just like a bad look, who cares? Versus like I don't really care. It's just like if you want to compare it to strict professionalism, wasn't
Yeah.
quite there.
Of course.
Um,
Of course.
but I think I'm at the point where I can reasonably like start building a reel and be proud of it. I think there's enough commentary out there from me where I can show it to someone and be like, this is what I am. This is what I'll bring. I don't know if I feel confident saying that like I have my own voice yet. All I have is my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and those are not the same thing. But reasonably, I could start asking for things. I could start like I got an offer to commentate Omega 3.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome. Congrats, dude.
I can't make it.
Oh no.
I can't make it that weekend. Which is kind of a bummer. I actually just realized that I put that out of my memory because whatever. So it's not a huge deal, but it would have been
Yeah.
really nice to have that opportunity as well. But it's cool that I'm at the point now where regionals and other tournaments that are close by would be like, hey, like JD will do this. Like he can reasonably commentate and hold it down.
Yeah. Would
So
you
it's
be
cool.
interested to do like a Brooklyn Kumite commentary, or would you
Oh
prefer
my
to like
God!
play?
What the? Yeah, what?
Like, what would you
Hell yeah.
prefer though?
Oh, like I have to do one or the other?
I mean, like I'd love like we could talk about it for sure.
I
But
think
I mean, like I'm just curious, like if you have a preference or not, like because you could literally just be always on the mic for it.
yeah.
Like, so it's
I
just like
hope-
what do you want out of it? You
It's
know?
weird. It's because it's at this point again, and this is something I thought would be a bigger problem than it is, and it's not a huge issue yet. But there is going to be a time where I'm going to have to make choices of
Yeah, of course.
do I enter?
I'm
it?
sorry
Do I
to like put you on like,
Hell
a
no, no.
spot.
This is the spot I
But
need.
I'm like thinking of bringing back Brooklyn Kumite 2 in like late June or something like that, and I'm starting to think of the possible lineups, and I just sort of want to know where you stand with it, you know, because you're
I
gonna get some really great players coming through regardless, and you can still play. Like you don't have to commentate the whole time, but mainly, do you want to commentate the whole top 8? Is what I'm asking.
that would be sick. I think I would accept that, and I think I'm at the point
For
now
overplaying,
where
or
yeah,
okay,
I would. I mean, not every situation is going to be like see me on LAN where they would be like, oh, dude, just play until you're out. Like, but then you got top 8. Like, not every tournament's going to allow me to do my best, make top 8, and then lose, and then commentate the rest.
Mhm.
That's not sustainable. And I think I love doing commentary. I think it's really fun. I like being involved. I like hearing my own voice. And there's no losing in commentary, so it's a bit of a safer way to enjoy the game. But
Yeah.
Joking aside, it's going to be a decision that I'm going to have to make often. And I think being in your house, and just enjoying the whole venue and being able to be on the mic and be a part of the experience, I think that's a great opportunity, and I would humbly accept it.
All right, we'll make it happen. I'll have your people talk to my people and whatnot.
Word.
Okay.
Can you just
but
talk
yeah.
to me? Do you have
Yeah.
to get my people involved?
Yeah, I'll get my mom to talk to your mom to see if we can have a sleepover.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know.
Just make sure you call on Wednesday. She's happier on Wednesdays.
Oh, okay, good. But yeah, cool. I'll figure out the schedule. I kind of have people in mind already. I just have to figure out some last tidbits, but it will happen after Omega for sure. So
Yeah, sweet. I think
Perfect.
I think it's gonna be fire. I don't want to miss this one. So, let me know dates in advance so I could lock it up and not have to be a sad boy about it.
yeah, sounds good. And then like it'll be, you know how it is. Like I think it's gonna be like tri commentary, so it'll be a little different. But I want to have your level of commentary, obviously.
Oh, you're so nice. I just want to get drunk.
Yeah,
Maybe not
dude,
drunk.
get drunk. Yeah, we
Oh,
can
maybe
get drunk.
Oh, fine. I'll get drunk.
Oh,
Fine.
I'll get drunk after bracket. But yeah.
Oh, that's a big plus of commentating is you could start drinking whenever the hell you want.
Yeah, I mean, people were doing it. Zane and Vortex and all of them,
Word.
and Jib and Jesse and Vino. So I gotta figure out like how many people I can fit in and stuff. But yeah, we'll do it.
Word. So let's do a quick shout out to I think Haas is pretty obvious, right?
To Wasabi? What? No?
Wasabi.
Yeah, obviously to fucking Haas Delgado for winning the Arcadian from losers.
Yeah. Not only is he a good friend, true homie, great player, he is got the eye of the tiger, and he could bring it home. He's a champion.
He is, yeah.
Really, I think he's just one of these players. Like we're probably gonna have him on as someone to interview.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think he's just one of these players that he doesn't give me any vibes of him like wanting to quit or him giving up or him bringing negativity to it. Or
he silently like trucks on, keeps moving forward silently.
Yeah, he's just one of those characters in an anime where he'll spring up from time to time, but like is just growing stronger, and then you have to quickly catch up on how much training they've been doing. You're like, oh shit, what? Wait, what? Like, and then he's a challenge. You know those guys. And so, he's just.
I do.
I did that.
Yeah, I know. I see what you did there. Yeah, I appreciate it.
So, yeah, Hostel Gato. There's not too much more to say. I think we talked about him plenty, so we could kind of wrap it up. But
Yeah.
I hope everyone kind of learns the name. And also, you know where Hostel Gato's from?
Where?
The actual name from?
Oh yeah, fucking Billy and Mandy, of course.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hostel Gato.
I didn't know that until like yesterday, and I looked him up,
Really?
and then I was just looking at pictures and watching clips of him.
Yeah, dude, he has a fucking chainsaw arm. It's so sick. It's like Jaime Lannister, but Jaime Lannister removes his golden hand to like for other things.
Does he have an eye patch too?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's sick.
It's Hostel Gato.
Made the tag so much better. I didn't know all that.
Yeah, really. Even my girlfriend knew that. I was telling her about like, yeah, like I think I might be like first seed or second seed, and she's like, oh, so you're playing 11? Like, who's he? I'm like, Hostel Gato, and she goes, wait, like the guy? I'm like, yeah, the guy from Billy and Mandy.
Damn it. Everyone knows this except for me. Well, now I know. I'm part of the club.
Where was your childhood?
I remember the dude. I just don't remember his name, my son.
Oh my god.
So, whatever. All right. This was a good conversation. I'm glad that you're in a good space and that you can kind of have frustrations without having them take over.
Yeah. It was like, yeah, it's good. I needed a little bit, of course, of it. And people were messaging me like afterwards, like saying like, yo, you got it next time. Like, we were all watching you, bro. Like, you almost got it, and like, it was nice. I mean, like, it was weird for sure, but I appreciate all the support and everything.
Yeah, we had a solid amount of people in chat throwing their support. So, good stuff, man. Keep that grind going. Let me know how this sesh goes today. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later, dude. It was always fun talking with you. It was fun hanging out with you yesterday, dude. Just watch out for Dave.
Oh my god, Dave, you're Pikachu,
dude.
All right,
that was the best part. That was the best part. Everyone was like, "What's this tag?" Like everyone's like, "Yeah." Like you have names for all of your secondaries. Like, what's this tag? I'm like, I don't know, Dave.
Oh, you had to have been there. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you later, dude.
Peace.
Peace.